Hello, this is Stone and Camera Review, and for this episode, I am kind of doing a stoner photo book review. And, I've been dying to actually open this book for quite some time. I thought about making like a little opening video of some kind. So I'm going to talk about Robert Frank and the Americans. And for me, this is a very pivotal book, kind of in my early photography beginnings. It's been a while since I'm dropping some knowledge on this book, but I'm also kind of like, just have some feedback on, kind of experience this again. Because the last time I looked at the Americans was quite some time ago. Ooh. And I just want to go ahead and open it and see if I have any comments, feelings from it. Those that don't know Robert Frank, he's a Swiss-born photographer. Went to the States, and his biggest work is probably The Americans. So I got this book, and I'm dying to open it, but I didn't want to open it because thought about making like a video. So here we are. I'm not sure what edition copy this is, but it doesn't really matter. I'm here for the pictures, right? Here for the pictures. The Americans was photographed throughout, I think, Highway 69, around a time where America was a very isolationist place to be, at least from what I hear. Let's go and look at this. Grab a little bit of an intro. See that okay? Yeah. A lot of American flags are featured in his book. And what I've noticed a lot about these photos, especially when people look at him, he was a Swiss person, I think, in America, and that was just a weird thing back then. So if you think like racism's a thing now, I think people thought I think he was arrested once on this Guggenheim grant to shoot the Americans. Arrested. People thought he was a Jewish spy. Anyways. Yeah, this is a pretty iconic photograph. I think this is the first time this layout where it's just a photo on a page, without opposing pages is, I really dig that. And it kind of has a sequence and narrative to it. It's just a great book. Photographed a lot of black people. I think Robert Frank also had the sensibility to kind of see Black America as not this very desperate place. I think this is at a wedding. It's just great street photography. I never really figured out the story behind the trip itself or how he shot his way through America. What I do know about Robert Frank, I think the person that taught Robert Frank back in Switzerland was also a very famous photographer back in the day and photographed a lot of social high mobility people, because that's when people had a desire to be photographed, I guess. But I think that was the Instagram of the time. You know, before Instagram, before digital photography, people take photos and people want to get noticed. It's no different really. But I just look at these pictures from what? These are definitely over 60 years old. 60 years ago. The amount of information that he packs is fantastic. I mean, he's always got like a portrait with a relationship to a background. There's just kind of always something that tells you where they are. And for storytelling, it's pretty wild. I mean, and when I mean information, it's like things like hot dog, 18 cents. These are markers to a time. There's a lot of photos in here. Another American flag. You see this? Okay. This photo is on the cover, but you can see the white man in charge, the white lady, second in command, their kids, black man and a black woman. I mean, that order. Someone pointed out that to me, and it just blew my mind. I remember back in a while when I first saw his photos. Just packing so much. Robert Frank packs a punch in his photos, and I really don't kind of like. It's just a pale contrast to what people shoot or frame or tell anything on Instagram. So, my thoughts on this book? Oh man, it's great. He puts himself through America like a ghost. I don't know how better to describe it. Just like a ghost. And this is rural America, and I think for the most part he went westward and well, all over really. Idaho, Florida, so a lot of seniors there. Long Beach, California. Arizona, New Mexico. New Mexico and southern U.S. just has that light. The photos tell it. You know, it's weird to say, but having been in New Mexico, the lighting is so different, and black and white just tells it. It tells it. Detroit. Barber shot through screen door. It's just amazing. There is not one thing that kind of escapes him. He just notices still things that are like very instinctively American. I don't know if you look at like other famous photographers from the time. I mean, these are all very instinctively American things in the background, how they're set up. It just tells a lot about the life that kind of was there. Santa Fe, New Mexico. A lot of photos. So yeah, it's a great book to sit and peruse, and it's one of those books where, like, if you like people watching, and you're not people watching, it's a great book to kind of go through. It doesn't really, and Robert Frank doesn't really like to give you a any more information than you really need. This is crosses at its scene of highway accident, US 91, Idaho. Lets you know just the bare textual information. Assembly line, convention hall. Yeah, I've never owned this book, but having looked through it a long time ago, this is a lot of photos. A lot of amazing photos in a project. And a funeral. I think the initial, like, a lot of people did not like this book. I thought it was poking fun at Americans. Political rally. Anyway, so this is Robert Frank, The Americans. Now I have this book open, I can just kind of take my time and peruse through, which is great. Rodeo. So it says New York City. So I hope this gives you an idea what The Americans is all about. Again, I don't know, holy trinity of photo books. One of them would be The Americans, maybe. Just great, black and white. San Francisco. That's The Americans. This is Stoner Camera Review. How many photos are left? Jeez. A lot of white people. And black people. And, you know, a lot of class disparity, even back then. This is Detroit. Chicago. Man, different times. Ann Arbor, Michigan. City Hall. And a wedding. There you go. That is The Americans. This is a Stoner Camera book review. Maybe not much of a review, but those are my thoughts on The Americans.